On this episode of Maritime Insights from a Deck Officer, this looks like the salvage equipment that was used during the refloat of the Thamesborg. So let's have a closer look. It looks like they are refueling the Thamesborg, but what are they loading right over here? Now this is very strange, I've never seen this before. You can see the anchor chain coming out the forward hawse hole or fair lead, and it makes its way back up here. The anchor is not attached to the anchor chain, and it is now hanging by the crane. So very strange. I don't know what's going on. There are rumors that the Thamesborg will go to one of these two dry docks, and this is where they are. Here's another interesting update on the Thamesborg that ran aground on September 6th in the Northwest Passage and has since been refloated. And she docked in baie-comeau on October the 30th. And she has now finished offloading her cargo of carbon blocks for the aluminum factory Alcoa. Now, this is already my 10th deep dive analysis on the Thamesborg. So if you're interested in all the previous episodes, then click on the playlist link in the description down below. On this episode, I'll give you some more interesting insights into what happened with the Thamesborg since my last video, such as, according to rumors, she might go to a dry dock in Ontario for a repair. And I'll show you which one. I also have details and photos of the salvage equipment that was used during the refloat. And they have also been doing some interesting things with the anchor and the anchor chain, like really strange. You got to see this. And they also refueled and moved tween decks. So let's get started. For those of you that don't know where the Thamesborg is right now, you have Canada over here, you have the Great Lakes, then you have Toronto over here, then you have Montreal, Quebec, then the St. Lawrence, and then right over here is baie-comeau. And the Thamesborg is right over here at this dock here. Now, they are right next to a marina, and that is Club baie-comeau Nautique. And they have a webcam for the marina, but also a webcam facing this dock. That's why we have been able to see what is happening with the Thamesborg the whole time. And I will put a link to the live webcam in the description down below. So if you're interested, you can have a look what's going on. Now, they were supposed to go right over here. This is the Alcoa aluminum plant. And they have a dock right over here. And this is where they were supposed to go. But this has been occupied by other ships. Now, there was a lot of activity on and around the Thamesborg on Thursday, November the 13th. A subscriber named Julius, he sent me a message and he said, "Mark, look what is going on." And I said, "Oh yeah, it looks like they are refueling." So one truck is about 20 tons of fuel, so about 9,000 gallons. The fuel consumption of the Thamesborg is also about 20 tons per day at cruise speed. So yeah, it's about one fuel truck per day. So that's crazy. You can see that they are loading the fuel here in the aft of the ship. That is where the engine room is. But most of the fuel is actually storaged right over here. This is the stowage plan. So that's the bow and that's the stern. And right here in the middle between the forward hold and the aft hold, there is the fuel tank right over there. So that's where it's going. Yes, they take it in on the aft ship because that's where the engine room is or where the pumps are, and then they will transfer it to the fuel tank. Then Julius also asked me, "Mark, what are they loading?" What you can see right over here hanging in the crane. Now, this is not cargo. These are tween decks, and I'll show you what tween decks are. So if we go back to the stowage plan of the Thamesborg, then if you scroll down here, you can see that they have a very large forward hold and a very large aft hold. Now, if you want to divide this hold up in two different cargo spaces, you can put a deck in between. And that's why it's called a tween deck. So the tween deck can be arranged in various different configurations. There's a very small one here in the front. That's the smallest one, which weighs about 7 tons. Then 2 bigger ones, they weigh 26 tons. And then you have 14 tween decks that weigh 34.5 tons. So depending on where you want to put your decks and how you want to arrange it, you can shuffle them around. These tween decks right over here and here, they can also be used as bulkheads at a 20 feet interval. So you can set them up straight to divide compartments, cargo compartments like that as well. So you can either do it horizontal or you can do it vertical. By the way, check out my new website, markhennis.com, where you can now sign up for my Maritime Intelligence Reports that I cannot share publicly, but I can share them with you via email. So you simply click on Maritime Intelligence Reports, and then it says receive Maritime Intelligence Reports that Mark cannot share publicly, but I'll share them with you privately via email. Simply enter your name, your first name, and your email and say, yes, send me the reports. Also, if you're enjoying my maritime insights so far and you're into shipping, then hit that like and subscribe button. It is free. It shows me that you're enjoying my videos, and it is a way for you to support my channel for free. This way, I will be able to continue my maritime insights for you. So if you're enjoying my videos so far, then click that like and subscribe button right now. On Monday, the 17th of November, I got an email from a subscriber. His name is Alan. Thank you for this photo, Alan. I appreciate it. So he is sending me this, and I'm like, what is going on over here? You can see the anchor chain right over here, but it's not coming out of the anchor pocket. It's coming out of the forward hawse hole or fair lead, and then it's going back up here. It is hanging by the crane, and maybe the anchor is just on the other side and we can not see it, but I don't know. Are they doing maintenance on it, or was something broken, or what do you think? Like, I have no idea what is going on here. Now, this is how it looks like right now. So the anchor chain comes out of the forward hawse hole and goes over the top. And they secured it over here, like with a rope or something, to keep it up there so that it doesn't slide down. But this is the Thamesborg when it was aground. And you can see that both anchors were still in the pocket. So they never used their anchors in that location. Then they went to the anchorage in a bay to have possibly a emergency repair done. So they have probably anchored there, or they have actually anchored there. Then they also went to Pond Inlet. They also anchored over there. And now they anchored in baie-comeau. I got this photo from Laurent. As soon as they got there, he sent me this first photo of the Thamesborg in baie-comeau. And you can see they used their starboard anchor right over there. You can also see, so the very black part over here, that is like the stern anchor. So that is okay. But all this other black stuff, that's probably from tugboat pushing them, or other ships that came alongside during the salvage operation. So that looks like rubber that is being put on there by ships being in contact with the Thamesborg. Here is a photo of the Thamesborg, and you can clearly see the forecastle, and here you can see the port side anchor windlass, and here you can see the starboard anchor windlass. Now, to get the anchor chain through this hawse hole or fair lead, you'd have to take the anchor off, and then somehow they got the anchor off, then they put the chain through here, and it was hanging over here, and then it was going over here. I don't know what they were doing. I really don't. I don't know what's going on. What do you guys think? Let's talk about the salvage equipment that was used during the refloat of the Thamesborg. Now, bear with me. These photos are a little bit blurry at times because they were taken from the webcam, but we got some information that we would not be able to get if we did not have the webcam. So if you want to see the live webcam, there's a link in the description down below. You can still have a look at the Thamesborg, what they're up to. But This was the very first photo I got from Laurent when they were just anchored in baie-comeau. And you can already see here on the bow, there is some extra equipment right over here. And this is usually not on the bow right there. Yeah, I circled it here, but it's right over there. But we're going to have a better look at this in a second, don't you worry. So then here is a photo from the webcam. And this was on the same day when they were refueling. They were messing with the tween decks. But there was also this pile right over here. And that is part of the salvage equipment that they were using. So from that photo, I cropped out the equipment. And yes, it's a very blurry photo. But I gave it to AI. And I thought, maybe it can identify what equipment this is. So it says the image appears to show equipment used in mushroom cultivation or organic waste composting, likely manufactured by the Christians group. Yeah, so don't rely on AI. I warned you, these photos are a little blurry, but we're going to have a look and see what we can identify. But this right over here, I think this is a generator that is connected to one of those high capacity salvage pumps that I've been talking about, to pump out water to refloat the Thamesborg. We're going to have a better look at this in a second because you will see that it is a water pump connected to a generator. Then you also see this green hose over here. That's probably maybe a water hose. Then you see this silver box over here. I have no idea what that is. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a fuel tank. I don't know. Then you have this green box over here. I think that is a booster pump, and I'll show you that in a second. Then over here, these and this one, that looks like these are compressed air tanks. And normally on this side, it is all round, and the other side is also round. I have a better picture of that in a second while it's hanging in the crane. But on this side, you can clearly see it's a flat panel. So you could add connections on here. It could also show pressure gauges and that kind of stuff. So that is why this panel is flat, to probably attach for attachments and connection points and gauges to operate this equipment. So in short, it looks like they have maybe used a combination of water pumps, but also they use compressed air to refloat the Thamesborg. Like I said, the pictures are a little blurry, but you can see the Thamesborg over here. You can see the fuel trucks. You can see two guys standing over here. But here, I waited until this piece of equipment was right in front of this crane because it's a white background. And then I took the screenshot. So right at that time, you can see this brown looking piece. And that is typical color for a industrial water pump. So I think that right there, that's the water pump. And then right attached to it, that must be a generator to power the pump. And then on this side, you will have a intake and an input. And then at the other side, you have an output, or the other way around. I'm not sure. But this is the pump. And I think this is the generator to power up this pump. And guess where they put that piece of equipment? They put that again there on the port side forward bow, where we saw that on the picture when they were just anchored. So I think that is the piece of equipment that we were seeing in that picture. And if they want to go, to another place, then they will probably have to put all that equipment back for safety to go to the dry dock. So they have to put it all back together. So in case there is a leak again or something isn't right, they can pump out the water again. So it is back. Looks like on the port side forward is where they put it back again. They also put these tanks back on the ship. And I think these are compressed air tanks, like I said. But it could also be a fuel tank. I'm not sure, but I think they use a combination of water pump and compressed air for the refloat. In this picture, you can see the green box that was sitting on the dock, and they're putting it back on the ship. And it's a green box, and I think it is a booster pump. And why am I thinking that is because when the Thamesborg was aground, I did a lot of research on salvage equipment and high capacity salvage pumps and all that kind of stuff. And then I came across this website called Pro Liquid. And it says they have these Pro Liquid booster pumps and they increase the pressure of existing fluid flow systems for impeccable results. And they're all this green color. So that's why when I saw that box, I'm like, that could be from that company. Now, of course, they will probably have it all plated and closed so that it looks more like a box and not open like this. Or maybe it's a different version. But I think this is where that pump is coming from. Now, they also have rentals. So they carry a wide range of portable pumps, power packs, and other liquid cargo related equipment for sale and rent. So yeah, it's nice that they are portable and that they are power packs, so that you can put that on the Botnica, for example. They pick it up and they bring it to the ship. So you can see also here all kinds of connections. So that is why I think that the green box is a booster pump. Now, the question that still remains is where will the Thamesborg go to a dry dock so she can get her ballast tanks repaired and be seaworthy again? So I got a tip via email and some other rumors that she might go to the Ontario Shipyards. Let's have a look at their services, their locations, and their dry docks. So it says that they are the largest Canadian ship repair and construction company on the Great Lakes. And they do vessel life cycle services, industrial fabrication services, project support services. And then they have 3 shipyards. We're going to have a look at those dry docks here in a second. Then, very cool. Let's see. I think the locations were all the way at the bottom. Yes. Okay. So they have a location in Hamilton, in Port Weller, which is St. Catharines, and then Thunderbay as well. So I had a look at all the available, or not available, but the docks that they have. So they have dry docks and they have floating dry docks in different locations. And I found that in Thunderbay, they have a dry dock that is 228 meters and 30 meters wide. Now, the Thamesborg is 172 meters by 22 meters wide. So it could fit here in Thunderbay. Then you have some floating dry docks in Hamilton, 3 of them, but only in Hamilton. So, and they're also quite small, so that won't fit. And then there's St. Catharines, which is also Port Weller. And they have a dry dock number 1 and dry dock number 2. And they are also 228.6 meters long, 24.4 meters wide. And then the other one is slightly larger, 246 meters long and 24.7 meters wide. So yeah, the Thamesborg can easily fit in one of these 3. But I think the tip was going to Port Weller, and the rumors are going to Port Weller, which is in St. Catharines. Here's a fun fact. So why do you think that the dry docks are not any larger than they are? Well, it's because the maximum length of the ships that can get to Lake Ontario are 225.5 meters. They have a beam of 23.8 meters, a draft of 8.08 meters, and a height above the waterline of 35.5 meters. These are also called seawaymax vessels, and these are the dimensions that are the largest that can fit through the locks of the St. Lawrence Seaway. And I was lucky enough to sail over the St. Lawrence Seaway once myself. We went all the way from Finland all the way to Duluth, which is at the furthest point that you can go on the Great Lakes. And I went through all these locks, and I will never forget that. It was in the summertime. It was so impressive what they've built there. So rumor has it that she will go from baie-comeau over here and then over the St. Lawrence via Quebec City, Trois-Rivières, Montreal, Kingston, and then onto Lake Ontario. And then right over here is Niagara Falls. There's St. Catharines and Port Weller. So if we zoom in, and this is the dry dock at the Ontario Shipyards in Port Weller. So she might go to one of these two docks over here. Let's say the rumor is only half true, then maybe she's still going to Ontario Shipyards, but she's going to Thunderbay, and this is the dry dock in Thunderbay. I hope you enjoyed this update on the Thamesborg. Of course, I will keep making updates about the Thamesborg, so don't miss out. Click that subscribe button right now. And also, if you want to see another video of mine, then watch this video right over here, and see you next time.